Photography. Oh, what a marvelous art form. It has had a transformative effect on the way we have seen and appreciated the human body throughout history. It has been stealthily exploring the curves and contours of our anatomy while also igniting our naughty imaginations. Throughout history, the depiction of nudity has evolved alongside cultural, social, and artistic changes. It has been celebrated, censored, debated, and reimagined, reflecting the dynamic nature of artistic expression and our evolving relationship with the human body. In civilizations like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece, nudity was often portrayed in a naturalistic manner, especially in sculptures and pottery. Greek art, particularly during the classical period, celebrated the beauty of the human form, and nudity was a common subject, symbolizing the idealized body and reflecting on their cultural values. During the Renaissance, nudity in art experienced a revival. Artists like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci depicted the human body with great anatomical accuracy and idealized proportions, often drawing inspiration from ancient Greek and Roman sculptures. In the 19th century, artistic movements such as realism and romanticism depicted nudity in a more realistic and emotionally charged manner. Artists like Gustave Courbet challenged academic traditions by presenting nudity in a direct and unidealized way, focusing on ordinary objects and social issues. In the early days of photography in the 19th century, technical limitations and social taboos made it challenging to capture nudity. But after the glorious golden age of photography, along came World War II to crash the party. So picture this, artists and intellectuals scattering like cats, running away from those pesky fascist alliances. In a flash, photographers abandoned the cultural hubs of Europe and sought refuge and employment across the pond in the US and Great Britain. And voila! Photography thrived like a plant on steroids thanks to this mass migration of talent. Oh, the power, oh, the influence. Photography transformed society into a visual wonderland, where images reigned supreme and words took a back seat. During the war, photography became a weapon of storytelling through photojournalism or manipulation through propaganda, capturing the bewildering chaos of a topsy-turvy world. Those dashing photojournalists of the time brought the grim realities of war right into people's living rooms through magazines and newspapers. Editors held the key to the kingdom, and photographers emerged as heroes, capturing the heartbeat of their era. It really was the perfect storm. In the late 1940s and the 1950s, as the global economy stretched its legs but couldn't keep up with the demand for jobs, women were politely ushered back home to whip out their wallets and stimulate consumerism. And with that comes the new fashion scene. A quote, new look swept in, glorifying ultra-femininity and lavishness in women's fashion. After years of military uniforms and plain Jane attire, women suddenly became the epitome of desire. Enter fashion photography, stage left. It played a pivotal role in the rise of glossy magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, showcasing the latest trends and turning heads. Following in the footsteps of Edward Steichen, who snapped photos for Vanity Fair and Vogue long before the war, these magazines enlisted the creme de la creme of photographers. We're talking about legends like Horst P. Horst, Louise Dahl Wolfe, Cecil Beaton, Erwin Blumfeld, Norman Parkinson, Richard Avedon, Irving Penn, you name it, they were there creating illusions of heavenly bodies that made the masses weak at the knees. And guess what? The demand for new and exciting images gave these artists a chance to spread their wings and pursue their own artistic visions without selling their souls to the devil. It really was a win-win situation. Photography thrived, fashion soared, and the world reveled in the captivating imagery of our extraordinary times. And then the 1960s were marked by intense conflicts and political upheavals worldwide. The era's newly liberated social, political, and sexual climate brought the human body to the forefront. Life itself became the ultimate form of art, leading artists to utilize the physical body as a powerful medium. In stark contrast to the repression of the 1950s, the body culture of the 1960s fostered an atmosphere of sexual freedom and exploration. Our fascination with nudity in art and photography can be attributed to various factors deeply rooted in human psychology and cultural influences. Nudity has historically been associated with taboo and forbidden subjects, which can create intrigue and curiosity. The human body is often regarded as a powerful and visually captivating subject. Nudity in art can elicit a wide range of emotions, such as desire, vulnerability, sensuality, and even discomfort. It can challenge societal norms, question established beliefs, and provoke thought and introspection, creating a strong impact on its viewers. As mentioned, society's perception and acceptance of nudity is influenced by cultural norms, personal experiences, and changing attitudes over time. The prevalence of nudity in media, fashion, and advertising can shape how nudity is perceived and its impact on engagement. Controversial or provocative imagery tends to evoke strong reactions and stimulate discussion, making it more likely to garner attention on social media. It's no question that the internet has made nudity more accessible than ever before. It allows artists and photographers to showcase their work to a global audience, breaking down geographical barriers and reaching diverse viewers. Artistic expressions involving nudity can now be shared, disseminated, and discovered online. Online platforms and social media enable artists to share their creations directly with audiences, bypassing traditional gatekeepers and art institutions. Virtual galleries, online portfolios, digital platforms allow for innovative ways of presenting and curating art, including nude artwork. The internet has facilitated discussions and debates on what is considered acceptable, artistic, or provocative. Online communities and social media platforms have become spaces of discourse, enabling individuals to express their opinions, share interpretations, and challenge existing norms. Kind of like this video here. The internet has also brought about debates regarding censorship and regulation of nudity in art. Online platforms and social media networks often have guidelines and policies that govern the display of nudity, which can vary in their interpretations and enforcement. This has led to discussions of freedom of expression, artistic intent, and balance between protecting users and allowing artistic exploration. While nudity can be used to generate engagement, the artistic intent and context behind the images should also be considered. The motivations of individual photographers may vary, ranging from bold artistic expression and challenging norms to more commercial and attention-seeking purposes. There is a perception that the addition of nudity in photography and other art forms can be seen as cheating. The use of nudity in photography can certainly capture attention, as it involves the human body, which is a subject of inherent sexual fascination and emotional connection. However, it doesn't necessarily imply that it diminishes the artistic value or depth of a photo. Ultimately, the artistic intent, the skill, and emotional resonance behind an image contribute to its overall impact, regardless of the subject matter. A counter-argument to that notion, though, could be based on the perspective that it can sometimes be seen as a shortcut to garner attention or engagement, potentially overshadowing other aspects of artistic merit. Some may argue that nudity, particularly when used gratuitously or without a deeper artistic purpose, can attract attention solely based on its shock value or the primal fascination with the human body. This could divert attention from the technical and conceptual aspects of photography, such as composition, lighting, storytelling, and social commentary. Some may contend that photographers who heavily rely on nudity for engagement might prioritize sensationalism over thoughtful artistic expression, as it primarily seeks a reaction rather than to explore complex ideas. Critics might argue that the pervasive use of female nudity in photography, particularly for the purpose of generating engagement, perpetuates objectification and reinforces societal beauty standards. This can contribute to the commodification of the female body and the reinforcement of gender inequalities. At the end of the day, the evaluation of artistic merit should consider the intention, execution, and impact of the photograph as a whole, including the meaningful exploration of themes and ideas beyond mere nudity. Some suggest that nudity in photography is frequently used as a marketing ploy. Critics claim that photographers, particularly in advertising or fashion industries, strategically employ nudity to attract attention and generate sales. From this standpoint, the inclusion of nudity becomes less about artistic expression and more about capitalizing on society's libidinal desires, reducing the subjects to mere objects of consumption. In an era of digital communication and social media, the easy accessibility and widespread use of platforms like Instagram have provided photographers with a new avenue to share their work and attract attention. However, this ease of sharing content also means that some photographers may resort to using semi-nude or provocative images to generate mindless engagement and maximize their reach. On platforms like Instagram, where the competition for attention is fierce, the primal and sensual nature of nudity can indeed be exploited to grab the viewer's attention. In the same way that fashion or advertising industries sell sex for profit, those of us who feel we need a brand on social media, and that may speak to a lot of people out there, feel that we can or should employ the same techniques. Some photographers genuinely use these platforms as a means to express their artistic vision, explore themes of sensuality, body positivity, or challenge societal norms surrounding nudity. Differentiating between photographers who use nudity for genuine artistic expression and those who employ it solely for shallow engagement can be a subjective judgment, one that depends on the context and intentions behind each individual's work. Okay, let's wrap this up. Many artists use nudity as a symbolic element to convey various ideas, emotions, or concepts. We know this to be true. We also know that the human body can represent vulnerability, power, identity, social constructs, and so much more. While the human body has been the subject of artistic exploration throughout history, it doesn't mean that all that can be said about it has already been said. Artists often find new ways to portray the body, examining issues such as gender, identity, body politics, and the overall complexities of the human experience. While it's true that some artists may use nudity for attention or shock value without much substance, it is important to recognize that there are also artists who approach nudity with depth and intention. Ultimately, the evaluation of the artistic merit and meaning of nudity in art lies in the interpretation and engagement of the viewers. And believe me, I get it. This is a strange topic to talk about, given that it's so prevalent in our lives, and the discussion can come across sounding a little gatekeepy. Like, I feel like I'm sitting here saying, this nudity is okay because it has substance, but this is not okay because you're just some pretty lady mining for likes on Instagram with your body. And I really don't want this to come across that way. There's been this ongoing discussion over on the subreddit r/analog about the overabundance of nude photos, specifically photos of women that were, I guess, hogging the limelight. There was, and still is, this trend that a grainy photo of a nude or semi-nude woman posing in a dirty mirror was getting more attention than any other potentially worthy content. I think a lot of the discussion around that also has to do whether the photo was uploaded by the model themselves or by someone else. And I became kind of fascinated by this, and I wanted to explore it a bit and open up some kind of discussion. And look, I feel like I need a disclaimer here. I am all for nudity. I'll be the first to tell you I have no problem with naked folks. But when I look at the bigger picture, no pun intended, when I zoom out at the macro implications of a trend like the one we're seeing on social media, it leads to more questions than answers. Questions like, why do we like nudity so much? Is it necessarily artistic when photographed? Do photographs have to be artistic? Do naked photos on social media perpetuate sexism? Does it reinforce gender norms? Does it objectify women? What is objectification? How long have we been fascinated with the nude form? Will there be a time where it doesn't fascinate us anymore? Or have we already reached that point and we don't even realize it? I personally know that I don't have all the answers, and maybe you do. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you all next time.